All right, welcome back to the Explainer. You know, the race for AI dominance is moving so fast, it's almost dizzying. We're talking about trillion-dollar bets being thrown down, and the rules of the game, well, they're being completely rewritten right now as we speak. I want you to just pause and really think about this for a second. What if that incredibly long, complicated, expensive process of finding new medicines, what if you could shrink it from months or even years down to just a couple of hours? And I know what you're thinking. That sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But here's the thing. It's not. This isn't some future prediction. This is something that literally just happened. And it's one of the huge breakthroughs that's kicking off this brand new AI gold rush. So let's get into our first section, a new AI frontier, and the capabilities that are changing everything. So what's really driving this explosion? Well, it's not just about making AI bigger anymore. It's about making it smarter, fundamentally more capable in ways that are just flipping the entire landscape on its head. Okay, so a huge piece of this puzzle is something called autonomous AI agents. Now, these are not your everyday chatbots, not even close. Think of them more like a tiny, super-fast scientist in a box. They can connect to live data, design their own experiments, crunch the results, and then come up with new ideas, all by themselves. That's how you shrink 6 months of R&D into a single afternoon. It's a total game changer. But it doesn't stop there. Things are getting even wilder. We're now seeing two of the heaviest hitters in technology, quantum computing and AI, teaming up. This new hybrid approach is already shattering records in things like protein prediction, which is absolutely vital for medicine. And get this, it's already outperforming Google's legendary AlphaFold 3 model. I mean, that's a huge deal. It's a perfect example of these different technologies smashing together and creating something incredible. So what this all points to is a massive shift in thinking. For the last few years, the mantra in AI was simple: bigger is better. Just build these enormous, insanely expensive models. But that era is ending. The new philosophy is smarter is better. We're talking about efficient, smaller models and these clever agent systems. And the result? Powerful AI is becoming accessible to way more people, not just a handful of tech giants. And, you know, whenever the rules of the game change, you get new challengers stepping onto the field. You have companies like DeepSeek popping up with models so good they're hitting performance levels we weren't expecting to see for another year. Then you've got Anthropic's Claude 4.5, which is built for consistency and reliability, perfect for really high-stakes work in fields like law. The point is, the top spot in AI is officially up for grabs. Naturally, when you have these kinds of breakthroughs, the money follows. And I mean big money. This has kicked off an insane investment race, which brings us to part two, the trillion-dollar power play. The tech giants are placing bets so huge they're almost hard to comprehend, all to build the plumbing for this new world. So let's start with Meta. Get ready for this. $600 billion. That's what they're planning to spend over just the next 3 years to build out the data centers they think they need to crack super intelligence. It's just a mind-boggling number. Microsoft, meanwhile, is playing a game of global chess. They're dropping $15 billion into the UAE to make sure they have access to the AI chips they need. And on top of that, they're building a $10 billion AI hub in Portugal. They're planting flags all over the world. And then you have OpenAI. Their commitment for data centers is reportedly $1.4 trillion. No, that is not a typo. Trillion with a T. This is an all-in, bet-the-company-level move that shows just how high the stakes have gotten. They believe whoever owns the infrastructure owns the future. What's so wild is that everybody's playing a different game. You've got Microsoft aiming for this humanist superintelligence. Google is literally looking into putting data centers in space with Project Suncatcher. Apple's just trying to make Siri not terrible by paying Google $1 billion a year. Tesla's doing its own thing, building its own chips. And Anthropic is just quietly racking up huge corporate contracts. It's a fascinating, messy, high-stakes race. Okay, so all this money and all this innovation, it doesn't happen in a bubble. It creates massive shockwaves, which brings us to our next section, the emerging shockwaves. These ripple effects are changing markets, the talent pool, and technology itself. And if you want to see what that looks like in dollar terms, here you go. The generative AI market is set to grow almost 10 times over in the next decade, from about $137 billion this year to a projected $1.3 trillion. This isn't just growth, it's a full-on market explosion. But honestly, maybe the most interesting shockwave is what's happening with the people. The very talent, the brains that built these AI empires at Google and Meta, they're starting to leave. I mean, when a pioneer like Jan LeCun, Meta's top AI scientist, is reportedly thinking about launching his own startup, you know a major shift is underway. The brain power is decentralizing. And you see these ripples hitting everywhere. Edge computing, the AI that runs right on your phone, that market is booming. New chip startups are raising hundreds of millions to try and take a bite out of NVIDIA's dominance. Even niche industries like legal tech are getting flooded with investment. A rising tide is lifting all boats. Now, in the middle of all this chaos, a really fascinating subplot is playing out. It's a tale of two AI giants, OpenAI and Anthropic, who are taking fundamentally different roads to try and build a real sustainable business. I mean, just look at this contrast. On one side, you have OpenAI, and their strategy is basically go big or go home. They're spending aggressively, they're projected to burn through $9 billion next year, and their path to actually making a profit is, well, it's fuzzy. On the other hand, you have Anthropic. They're being way more conservative, focusing on big enterprise deals where their costs grow with their revenue. They think they can break even in a few years. It really is the classic tortoise versus the hare story. Which one wins? We'll see. So let's wrap this all up. What does this all mean for the future of power? As we finish out this explainer, it's pretty clear we are in the middle of a fundamental reshaping of who holds the cards in the world of AI. If you remember anything from today, make it these three huge shifts. First, AI models are getting smaller and smarter, not just bigger. Second, the monopoly on AI chips is finally starting to crack. And third, the top talent is spreading out, leaving big tech to build new things. You put all that together and it's clear. The old era of centralized AI power is coming to an end. Which leaves us with one final big question. In this new world where AI is getting more accessible, where the talent is more spread out, and where new tech is popping up every week, who do you think is actually gonna win this race? Is it the giants spending trillions on infrastructure? Is it the nimble startups with the next brilliant idea? Or is it someone we haven't even heard of yet? The future